Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another EVE Online video. Now, kind of in some way going to contradict my last one. You know, in the last one I was talking about why gas over ice. You know, it's for the time that you put into it, you get a lot more back than you do with ice. It's a given. You know, whenever you can, you know, clear gas sites if you're using two prospects with with two syndicate scoops on it, you know, you could clear a full gas site and make about 80, 90, sometimes 100 million, depending on how much is left in it, and you can do so with two accounts in about an hour. To make about 90 to 100 million in ice, you would need to do it for a good load of hours. Okay, so obviously gas over ice whenever it's a choice, but for a lot of times that is not a choice that we readily have. Gas is a lot harder to find, you know, ice is a lot easier. So I, you know, wanted to talk about why, you know, I have went back to high sack ice. It's not that I'm not doing gas no more. I'm still doing the gas. I still do gas before ice, but for the most part I'm doing high sack ice, and the reason for that is there's actually a few different reasons for that, and we'll get into those reasons. I think one is a very well-known reason, you know, and probably the main one is I work from home. Doing high sack ice mining, you don't really need to put a lot of time and effort into it, or put a lot of, you know, thought power into it. You can kind of just set it and forget it for a while. The only thing that you really need to do is look out for your hold filling up, but that's about it really. With that being said, I must admit that I kind of jinxed it, because in my last video, after recording that video, well, at least recording the audio for that video, yeah, the high sack system that I would do my ice mining in has been jumped quite a few times, which is fantastic. I lost a Hulk, didn't lose my Orca, didn't even attempt to go for the Orca because again, too big and beefy. That's completely fine. Hulk was, after it was jumped and blown up, it was just as quickly replaced, so that's fine. So I kind of jinxed that one a tiny bit, which is a wee bit shit, but it is what it is. I have been playing other games as of recently. I've been playing some Rainbow Six Siege, whenever you're actually able to get on, because the new season released, and that was a shitty launch, that was for damn sure. Secondly, I've been playing a lot of Escape from Tarkov. It's a game that I've had for a little over, well, it's coming up on 2 years now, and I've only recently started getting into it, and I love it. It's brutal, but it's amazing. And a lot of Magic the Gathering. The reason being is I really want to play Magic the Gathering. I've just got this need to play Magic the Gathering, but at the same time I don't really have anyone to play with, so I've been doing Magic the Gathering Arena. I play it a lot on either my phone or my tablet. Sometimes I do play it on my computer, but most of the times it is on my tablet. So if I am out doing some ice mining, I will do it on, I'll play Magic the Gathering while doing my ice mining. And you know, to me that always works out. So I don't mind how long it takes to make the 100 million. I don't mind how long it takes to mine ice, while it's not as valuable and as quick as the ice. Whenever I am doing ice, it's because it's not as valuable and quick as the gas, sorry, but when I'm doing ice, it's because that I'm doing something else, whether that be working, playing Magic the Gathering Arena, or been doing a lot of reading. I started the Red Rising series by Pierce Brown, and being able to just sit and read, and then in the background just have ice going, just for that reason alone is insane, because I can still make some ISK, because even though I don't really care about ISK, at the end of the day ISK is the cornerstone of the game. But yeah, so that's why I've been doing a lot of ice in my not so free time. Working, it's because that I'm working from home. I can just kind of go out to the ice belts, set it up, and then what I do is I just keep an eye on my second account, and once it's getting close to filling up the hole, I compress and ship it over to the Orca. And then about every hour and a half or so, I take it out of the fleet hangar and I put it into the Orca's mining hole, rinse and repeat for a few hours, because again, I am working from home. It is a good, steady, ISK income is doing high sec ice mining, and it's, for the most part, and I don't want to jinx it again, but for the most part, it's relatively safe in comparison to gas, whereas you couldn't do gas on, I couldn't do gas while I'm working. I couldn't do gas while I'm playing Magic the Gathering Arena, because every area that has gas in it is a dangerous area, whether that's low sec, null sec, or wormholes. So it doesn't really make an awful lot of sense to, if I'm in work, to go out and do gas mining, because it would require me too much to be looking at what I'm doing and constantly watching local and D-scan and stuff like that. It just doesn't make an awful lot of sense for me personally. But again, I could see why, for the time spent doing ice to the ISK payoff, it's just not worth it as much. I use it in a way where the way that I've got it set up is every single thing that my Hulk takes in the terms of ice, it all gets compressed. Okay, so my Hulk will have an ice mining drone, and it will also just have its ice harvester 2s with its upgrades and stuff. Any ice that my Hulk takes in is compressed and shipped over to the Orca. Anything that the Orca takes in, it does not get compressed, it actually gets reprocessed. What I do is then I set the materials to the side for them to be sold, with the exception of heavy water. I keep that heavy water for myself so that I can then power my Orca to be able to use the compressors, the industrial cores and stuff like that. So that's the setup that I have, and it works. For the most part, it's a lot of AFK ISK making. Now definitely whenever I am actually having some free time to sit down and play the game, I am not doing ice mining. I am either doing something along the lines of, say for talk's sake, I'm sitting doing farming for escalations. I'm down on relic sites, gas sites, stuff like that. I have been doing a lot of preparations for going to do the nomad stuff, which will be coming up. But definitely whenever it comes to the sort of thing of free time, ice is not what I'm doing. Okay, so it's something that if you're looking at this and you're thinking about taking up ice mining, you really need to weigh all the pros and the cons. Yes, it's steady ISK. You can find it using the agency tab, which is great, which obviously means that you can scope out systems without actually having to go into it, where gas is, you have to go into it, you have to scan it down, make bookmarks and stuff like that. Agency tab just lets you know how much, or if there is ice in that system, and you can find systems up to 15-20 jumps away, which is fantastic. It takes out a lot of the guesswork, whereas gas is a lot of guessing, scanning, not finding something, moving on to the next system. You're making sure that you're in the right constellations and making sure you're in the right systems for these gases to specifically spawn in. And then obviously if you're doing it in wormholes, you kind of just have to hope and pray that it's got gas in it with not an awful lot of traffic, so that you can be kind of left alone, because that would be ideal. So there's a lot of pros to ice. There's probably two main. The two main of the cons is obviously you have to be Omega, and to do it effectively you need to have 2 accounts, preferably one with an Orca. If you don't have one with an Orca, join a fleet that has an Orca in it. That's the preferable method for it, which is costly. It is costly. You're talking 3 billion just to get into it, whereas gas is, you can do it as cheap as 20 million as an alpha. So that's always something to keep your thoughts on. But that's why I've been doing it, is because I've been doing a lot of reading, been playing a lot of Magic the Gathering and stuff, and obviously whenever I'm in work. But I have making it so that I will not do it in my free time. It's as simple as that. I won't do gas in my free time. The only time that I do gas in my free time is if I'm in the house and I'm having to do housework. Maybe then, but maybe not. Ice is definitely a good cornerstone of a routine, more than being your routine. Now you've probably seen it. I've seen it loads of times where someone comes in with like 10 exhumers and an orca and just clears out an ice belt in a couple of hours. Me personally, I just don't think that's worth all the time and the effort, especially trying to keep all accounts Omega, having them all trained up, managing them all and doing all of that stuff. It just does not seem worth it. Having it as part of your core routine, by all means, you know, farm some ice, do some combat sites, farm some gas, you know, whatever it is that you may do. If it's part of it, it's great. If it's not part of it, it's boring, right? Okay, so if you have it as your main, this is how I make ISK every single day, you're going to get so bored so quickly, and it will get this stage where you're just stopping doing it. Personally, I think it's a great addition, but that's about it. So that's pretty much why I have went back to ice. So that is where I'm going to leave it off right now. Thank you for listening, and until next time, thanks for watching. Okay, so I wanted to add a note in here, kind of like an editing note, just because it's something, you know, there's 2 points that I want to point out. One is I do apologise for sounding the way that I'm sounding. About a week ago, my partner went into work, and there was someone there who willingly came into work and didn't tell anyone that he had COVID, which then she got, and then I subsequently got as well. As of recording this video, I am feeling insanely shitty. But the worst part about the whole thing was that, you know, when my missus caught it, she was 34 and a half weeks pregnant, which led to some worries at one stage. At like 1 o'clock at night, there was some worries because, you know, we weren't feeling an awful lot of baby movement, and, you know, it got this stage where we were on the phone to the maternity ward. They were giving us, you know, tips and things to do just in case, and we were doing them, and yeah, wasn't great. It wasn't a great time. I can deal with feeling shitty, that's fine, but that was a scare, which I was not a fan of. So the next time that I see the person that my partner works with, we're going to have some words, because willingly, because he knew that my partner was 34 weeks pregnant, and he still decided to come in, so we will have some words, because I'm not happy in the slightest. Neither is she, but of course she can't really do much because that's her place of work. I thankfully do not work there, so I can say whatever the fuck I want. That, and probably, you know, more importantly compared to this, is sometimes what will happen is, like I spoke about it before, most of the time, like 99% of the time that I'm actually doing ice, I'm working. Okay, so I'm not paying an awful lot of attention, and a lot of people would see me and my orca out in the ice belts. So they'll come out, they'll see Expedition 1 in an orca, they'll see Expedition 2 in a Hulk. Okay, they will message Expedition, or they will send a message in local chat. I do not have local chat open. Okay, if you're trying to talk to me in local chat, please don't. I'm not going to see the message. I don't have local chat open. I don't pay attention to it in the slightest. And if you do come across me and I am doing some ice mining in my orca and you would like an invite, then message Expedition 2, because as soon as my orca is in position and set up with the industrial core running, the boost running and stuff like that, I only check that account once every maybe hour and a half, 2 hours. Please do not message my main account whenever I'm doing a ice mining. If you would like a invite to do some ice mining and get boosts and compression, by all means, you're more than welcome to do so. Please message Expedition 2. Alright, the first one, so the main account in the orca, I do not pay attention to that account because I don't need to. Right, the only thing that I have to focus on whenever I'm actually doing ice mining is the second account, to move everything across once it's been compressed. I will not see your messages in local and on either account, and I will not see your private messages on Expedition 1. Please do not do it. Send Expedition 2 and I will more than happy to send you an invite. I do have one requirement for fleet boosts and compression and stuff, is I do not, under any circumstances, do not accept tips. If I see a tip coming through, I will send it back. If it takes me about an hour or so to realise that you have sent a tip, I will send it back. Anytime, I've got into the habit now that anytime that I am doing I have random people in my fleets, after I have left the thing, I will always check, and if any tips have come through, I will send it back. Please, I do not accept tips. It is not necessary. Keep your ISK, right? I am in no need for ISK. Please keep yours. With that being said, that is going to do it for me. So until next time, thanks for watching.